With Kitty Pryde seemingly dead, the White Queen and her crew will stop at nothing to bring her back. All this and more on the pages of Marauders number 9. Let's hop on in together and find out what happens next, shall we? So, as we join the comic, we check on in with Pyro, a character we haven't actually spent much time with. He pulls up to a tropical island and is greeted like a goddamn celebrity. And if all of this seems too good to be true, you ain't seen nothing yet, because as Pyro goes on, he finds Jean Grey waiting for him like Tawny Katane on a sweet-ass muscle car. Together they embrace before riding off into the sunset while Freebird plays in the background. Yeah, this is most definitely a dream, but believe it or not, it's not actually Pyro's dream. At the very least, not directly anyway. You see, Emma Frost and the rest of her crew ended up getting wise to the idea that shrinking supervillain Yellowjacket had actually stown away on Pyro during their last mission. He's been beaming back secrets to the Hellfire Junior Club, and so she opted to trick him by creating this kind of Jersey Shore Fantasyland scenario, which Yellowjacket seems too dumb to see through. The hope is that they can get Yellowjacket out of Pyro's bloodstream and jump him before he can end up running off back to his masters. The only problem is that when Emma and Bishop try to do this on their own, they end up failing horribly. Yellowjacket gets spooked, ends up re-expanding inside Pyro's body and turning him into a red mist that ends up covering poor White Queen's nice white attire. Bishop tries his very best to give chase, but little Yellowjacket is in a little submarine, which is very difficult to capture when you're full size. Now, if you're like me at this point in the story, you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, that was pretty damn incompetent on the part of Emma Frost and Bishop. Usually they're shown to be a lot more put together than this. How did their plan fail? Well, because it was meant to fail, because it was never real. This was yet another psychic illusion going on in the mind of Yellowjacket. You see, Emma and Bishop knew full well that this would be a security risk for Krakoa, and because of that, they decided to rope on in Magneto as well as the rest of the Stepford Cuckoos to help them out with what they plan to do next. The plan is to let Yellowjacket think he's escaped for the next little bit while the Cuckoos go inside his mind and make sure to remove anything too important about Krakoa's security. Magneto figures that there's a good chance that Yellowjacket has already transmitted some secrets to the Hellfire Junior Club, but that they should be okay. After all, this is Pyro they're dealing with, and well, Pyro isn't really privy to any secrets because no one really bothers to tell him anything because, well, again, he's Pyro. That's really freaking sad for poor Pyro, but believe it or not, he actually ends up getting his revenge in a big bad way. You see, Emma Frost uses her psychic powers to get into the minds of the Hellfire Junior Club, who are celebrating a job well done. The thread basically boils down to don't think just because you're children and don't think just because you're all the way in Madripoor, we mutants can't make your life a living hell from the comfort of our own homes in Krakoa. Oh sure, we might have that little rule that says we're not allowed to kill anybody, but here's the funny thing, you pissed Pyro off more than anyone, and you can still be burned really bad without dying. So live the rest of your lives in fear of an open flame, because you never know when a vengeful Pyro might burn you in places you do not want to be burnt in your young lives. So, with the scare tactic done, Emma is ready to see to her next big important task, and that is the resurrection of Kitty Pryde. How is it going for the Five and Xavier? Not well. In fact, they've tried several times to bring Captain Kate back, and it's failed every single time. In fact, they're not totally sure what they're doing wrong. Maybe the Five are tapped out right now. Maybe the corpse that Bishop brought back doesn't have the genetic material they need. Maybe it's something else, something unseen. What we know for certain, though, is Lockheed, Kitty's longtime pet and friend, has finally recuperated and is ready to head back to Krakoa to perhaps be the deciding factor in her resurrection. And it's on that note right there the comic comes to a close. So that was Marauders issue 9, everybody, and ultimately I thought this was a bit of a thin issue. Yes, it's nice to see Emma dealing with grief and having to come up with some creative plans while still working through a lot of personal stuff, but I don't know. You gotta respect Duggan's confidence for killing off who is essentially the main character of this book so early on in its run, and then actually let this story take time to breathe and grow and have the reader not really know if Kitty's gonna come back or not. Why, if you're a continuity junkie too who's been enjoying all of the X-Men books, you'll probably appreciate that there was a nice little Jeff Bannister Wolverine #1 reference in this book. Ultimately, I feel comfortable giving this one a 7 out of 10. It was pretty serviceable.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cave Jewel, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, which I am very appreciative of. It really helps drive engagement and retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. So does liking and commenting. Wink wink. If you like my content too, you should check out my Patreon page. We just redid all the tiers, so there's a ton of great rewards. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and well, it would just really help me out. It's never expected, but always appreciated. So until next time everyone, I've been Cave Joel, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.